Hey folks, this is Matt once again with another viewer requested review from TheRedLegacy. Wanted me to review the first Indiana Jones film, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And since I already reviewed Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is on YouTube, you can check that out on my channel. And yes, this is part of this box set, which if you want Indiana Jones, definitely get this box set, not the ones that came out when the fourth film came out. This is an older box set. Because not only do you get the first three films, but you get this bonus disc, which is not on the newer. I don't think this bonus disc is on any newer box sets of any box sets. Box sets. That's a weird kinky vibe. Box sets, they don't have this bonus disc, which is a shame because it's great behind the scenes on the making of the first three films. Which, again, I don't know why they did not put it in the later and carry it over, but what do I know? They just want more money to get you off. But it's not as bad as George Lucas's Star Wars Blu-ray bullshit, which maybe I'll talk about that one day. I don't know. But, Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1980 or 81? 81. It was kind of weird because the same night I'm talking about Nighthawks, which this also came out in 1981 as well. But I don't know what I can say about this film that hasn't been said. I mean, you all know what Indiana Jones is. I hate that title change. Why can't it just be Raiders of the Lost Ark? Why does that have to be Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark? Why can't it just be Raiders of the Lost Ark? I don't understand. I mean, this is a classic. This is probably, I mean, everybody knows about Indiana Jones. That George Lucas, granted, I give him credit that he originally came up with the idea. Around the same time he was creating an idea for Star Wars. When they were casting the film, they wanted Tom Selleck to be Indiana Jones, but he had to do Magnum P.I. But then the weird thing was, Magnum P.I. got screwed around, so Tom Selleck, at the end, they could have done Indiana Jones, because by the time they started filming was way after this film wrapped. So I'm sure Tom Selleck's kicking someone's ass for that. Tom Selleck would have been fine. I like Tom Selleck a lot. But, you know, Harrison Ford did excellent as Indiana Jones. To be honest, this is my favorite Harrison Ford stuff. I like Indiana. Let me put it this way. I'm a much bigger Indiana Jones fan than Star Wars fan. That's just the flat out honest. Star Wars, the prequels, I have the DVDs for the bonus features. I'm never buying another fucking thing of Star Wars, of anything. The Blu-rays can kiss my ass with their further tinkering. Again, maybe one day I'll talk about that. The originals, they're getting worse and worse. By all the tinkering to the point that you can't... I'm going on top of fuck that. But these films, at least Spielberg had the fucking common sense to... The only time that they fucked with this is fixing little mistakes. Like when you saw the reflection during the Well of Souls and you saw a hint of Harrison Ford's reflection because they had to put a mirror in front of the Cobra, not a mirror but a glass. They took that reflection out. That is why you should use that for. Think about it. You got entire websites talking about here's all the mistakes. Look at that, fix all that, and just do that. You don't... I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, I mean, this is just classic stuff. I mean, cast does a wonderful job. You got Marion Ravenwood's character, Karen Allen. I'm a big fan of Karen Allen. It was so nice to see her in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. My favorite of all the Indiana Jones films. I would say this is my favorite. I mean, I love Temple of Doom. I love Last Crusade. And sometimes I'm like picking, oh, maybe this, maybe this. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick one, it has to be the original, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's my all-time favorite of the Indiana Jones films. Temple of Doom, Last Crusade are very, very close behind, though. I mean, one more can I say maybe at the beginning with Alfred Molina, who I guess most people remember Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. I think it's like his first role. It's like, don't do that, it's poisonous, and they're not too far. And they get in that bit of business where, the idol and Indiana Jones doing this. And beforehand, when Alfred Molina was covered with tarantulas, and Indy just brushed this stuff off. And yes, he did the idol, and Alfred Molina's doing this. You have the boulder. But before that, I should say, he gets the idol, or puts the sand in, and, throw me the idol. Okay. I'll throw you the whip. Give me the whip. Adios, senor. And of course, he gets it bad because, this is a PG, but when you see Alfred Molina and when Indiana Jones finally gets over that shit, and he's impaling the spikes, that's for PG, that's pretty, I think this is well before I think they made PG-13. I think that helped because of Temple of Doom, which, yep, this is still PG, Temple of Doom. So, I know Temple of Doom's a lot darker. But, I mean, it's a classic scene. I mean, the boulder, running from the boulder, practical effects, it looks dangerous as shit. Even if that thing's covered with foam, or whatever the hell it was, it still looks dangerous than shit. I have Belloq, actor Paul Freeman. It's like, what's the what once was yours is now mine. He has to run from the natives. Start the engine, start the engine. Dun 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 dun. There's a snake here. I hate snakes. Oh, grow some backbone, will you? I love this film. I mean, you got Denholm Elliott's character, and they basically get approached by these two guys saying that Hitler and his army are looking for this Ark. What is the Ark? That supposedly held the Ten Commandments, and that opens it. It's like the sort of power of God, and the Marcus Brody character. And Indiana Jones started explaining to these guys, like, any army who carries this would be invincible. You have Indy getting to Marion, and Marion doing the drinking game. Such a cool character, Marion Ravenwood. Very cute, but also Spitfire. Not someone you can brush around, strong, but also very likable. I'm a big fan of Karen Allen. Loved her in Starman. Loved her in this flick. And you have that crazy motherfucker coming in, and who later on gets burned and has the scar on his hand of the little sort of medallion. Great sound effects like the whoop and the punches. Like the punches have their own sound effect to it. It's awesome. The big old fights in the bar where they're handling and one guy is like, shoot them both. And they both shoot that guy and they're both still fighting. The scene where Marion Ravenwood gets captured and put in the basket and Indiana Jones, like before, ducks it, boom! Yeah, of course, this scene with the swordman, because in real life Harrison Ford was sick, and they don't have this big old fight, but Harrison Ford was sick. He's like, why don't I just shoot him? I have a gun. And he does. Awesome fucking sequence. Very fun, very funny. Looking for it. Oh shit. There's the fucking basket in the truck thinking, oh my god, Marion's dead. You have Sallah in there, John Rhys-Davies, like when he catches it, bad dates. Or when they're unlocking and find where the hell souls are at. This is by the time that you find out that Karen Allen is actually still alive. Him and John Rhys-Davies digging up, find where the Ark is at. Why does the floor move? Asps, very dangerous. You go first. I mean, you got excellent fight scenes. I mean, you have one of my favorite scenes is with when they both get trapped in there, Indiana Jones and Marion, and they're able to get out of there. The fight scene near the airplane with that big guy, he's fighting it. It's like, come on! And then just like okay, alright. dun, dun, dun. And John Williams, this is maybe my favorite score of John Williams, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's hard to pick, but this would be my all-time favorite. Even out of Indiana Jones films, this is my favorite score. Just every musical piece is perfect. And that theme is one of the great themes in movie history. Dun, 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 dun. It just has a great adrenaline, just a great uplifting feel to it. And the fight scenes really kick ass, where I know Harrison Ford actually got hurt. I think he got his leg, or part of his leg ran over. But this is a badass fight where he gets hit, and Indiana Jones like, bah, 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 bah. And then the intensity of some of the stuff for PG, where the guy gets cut to shit from the propeller, and the splash of blood was enough. And Marion knocking out the pilot and getting trapped in and shooting a little bit. Indiana Jones having to get her out. You have the scene where Indiana Jones has to get on the truck, and the truck scene, very solid. I mean, granted, you can get underneath a truck. I don't know about back then in the 30s or whatever, how trucks were, but you can't really get underneath a truck. But this is sort of a take on the B movies, the serials. So realism is not really par for the course in these films, not the point. And still a fantastic action sequence underneath and being dragged and just beating the shit out of there. Boom, boom, boom. Something that always made me cringe was Indiana Jones gets shot, and just the way it hits him, the blood splatters, and Harrison Ford's reaction made you cringe on that. And just so much great stuff in it. So many great lines, like, it's not the age, it's the mileage. And wonderful performances. You really buy Harrison Ford and you really buy Karen Allen together. That moment where they're on, like, the ship, Indiana Jones is talking, and Marion just gets the mirror, boom, and he just cut to hear Indy scream. He's doing this, and Marion's like, "What do you say?" And ow. Well, damn it, where does it hurt? Here. And here. And here. And it was very cute, but also very funny. It wasn't sappy or cheesy, but it worked well with the characters. It's just very fun. Very entertaining. Great in the ending. The weird thing about this is that Indiana Jones really doesn't do anything at the end, because I know, like, my friend Effrey and some others, they don't hate the film at all, but why it's not their favorite Indiana Jones film, which is understandable, is that at the end, he's not doing anything. He's tied up to Marion. And basically, the art does the work itself. Which, granted, that's always kind of a little problem, the fact that Indiana Jones doesn't do anything at the end because he's tied up. But I think because maybe it's about... I think the other reason they say is that, well, really, Indiana Jones, they didn't have to do anything. They could have just stayed home, had a cup of tea, or have a cup of cocoa, or have a bottle of beer, and let the Nazis do whatever the hell they want. They would have opened it anyway, and they'd all be dead. Or they would have taken it to where Hitler is, open, and Hitler would be dead. I think maybe that's the one thing they're like, So they didn't really have to do this at all. But it was more about the adventure. It was more about, well, they didn't know that's what was going to happen. So I guess it was more about the journey of going through all this stuff, battling the Nazis, being there, so that when everything was done and said, Indy and Marion could take that to where it'd be safekeeping. That final shot was in this warehouse, in the same box that everybody else, and you kind of see that warehouse in Indiana Jones 4. So that's how I looked at it. Plus, you had Nazis melting and exploding, so you can't go wrong with Nazis blowing up and melting. Which for PG, that's probably the most violent PG stuff Man, most violent PG stuff. That or maybe that scene in Poltergeist. Because I always kept thinking Poltergeist was PG-13. I don't know why. I always kept... I always swore that Poltergeist was PG-13, but I know I like Poltergeist, but a bigger fan, Mike, OCP, let me know that that is actually a PG film. Which I'm like, oh, really? Huh. I always, oh shit, it is PG. But, you know, hell yeah, Nazi's face is really melted off. You can't go wrong with that. But either way, it's such a very entertaining film. It's a awesome kick-ass action flick, entertaining adventure film. Just great solid flick. I mean, I don't really see it. I don't even know. I'm mumbling because how do you do review on a classic film where everybody knows about it, everybody has seen it? I think most people love it. I don't know many people. I don't know any people who doesn't like Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you don't, okay, cool. I'm not gonna get mad at you for not liking Raiders of the Lost Ark. But I've never met anyone who doesn't like this film. It's a classic. It's my favorite Harrison Ford film. I love these films so much more than Star Wars. Star Wars I've lost interest in, but I've never lost interest in Indiana Jones. Even Part 4, in my opinion, can get the shit. Indiana Jones 4 can get the shit out of the prequels of Star Wars and the original versions of Star Wars. The ones with all the special edition and tinkering and Jabba the Hutt looking like a fucking PlayStation 2 and Greedo shooting first and now Vader going no and fucking Return of the Jedi and Ewoks now blink. And once again Vader going no and Revenge of the Sith style at the end of Return of the Jedi, which if you buy the Blu-ray, including you, Michael Keane, and anybody, you don't get a welcome surprise, because when you're watching Return of the Jedi, you don't hear Vader going, no, and then throwing the Emperor. Fuck you, George Lucas, but either way, Raiders of the Lost Ark kicks ass, takes names, and is a definite classic. Wonderful, wonderful film. So thanks for watching, and take care. Later.